Okay, so hello everyone. Good morning. Hope you are fine and I hope you can hear me. In case you cannot hear me, please just let us know in the comment section. Um, I welcome you to the first webinar of the semester, and the topic that we are going um, to focus on today is going to be changes in the labor market, and in particular, we will see the advent of artificial intelligence. This was a topic highly requested by the network, so we are happy to finally focus on this really important topic that kind of got really into our minds with the news and all the tools that basically use artificial intelligence. Before starting, I will give you a few instructions to interact and to enjoy at the fullest our webinar. So to interact, you can use the chat function of YouTube. As you can see, should be on your right side. You can write there any question you want. If you cannot use the chat function for any reason, I will paste here uh, a link that will bring you to the Slido. Slido is an app that we use to interact, and there you can write your questions. And at the end of the presentation, we will read them to our experts. And this leads me to introducing finally our experts. I am really glad to introduce Professor Fabio Mercorio. Professor Mercorio is here. I leave the spotlight to him. Is a full professor of computer science at the University of Milan Bicocca. In the Department of Statistics Quantitative Methods. He is director of Master in BI and Big Data Analytics at Bicocca, and from 2020 to 2023, he was deputy director of the CRISP Research Institute. In the first part of this webinar, we will hear his precious experience, and he will explain us more about AI. He asked me to have all the questions at the end, so while you have any questions during the presentation, just type them in the comment section or in the Slido, and at the end of the presentation, we will address these questions. After this first part, we will have a really short coffee break, let's say at around 11. So we will have 5 minutes coffee break. And after that, we will do a short discussion, always about AI. And we will ask you also a couple of questions so you will be able to interact with us. So without further ado, I leave the word to Professor Mercorio. Hello, Professor. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for coming, for connecting, let's say. I'm going to share my presentation. So just a very quick check that you can see, Gianclaudio, please. You can see
yes, I can see
my
it.
presentation. Okay, so great. Thank you for inviting me. Within this hour, even less, we would like to discuss with you about the role and the impact of that AI is having on the labor market. And so to go through this, I prepared the presentation passing through three main points. The first one is to briefly discuss what artificial intelligence is right now, because it's an evolving definition, how does it work, and also clarifying some crucial steps about the so-called generative AI. This is, let's say, important to setting the basis about what is AI and to discuss about the same thing when we say AI. The second part is about the impact that AI is having on job market. We will show you some numbers from some studies that are trying to estimate the impact that AI is having on jobs and tasks as well. First, at the end of the presentation, we will show you some videos also to give you, let's say, some opportunities, even in the field of labor market, of using AI to empower knowledge and to support decision making. So we start from the beginning. What is AI? So let me, since I'm a computer scientist, we started working. Started working on AI and on big data as well. So I would like to give you with this picture, animated picture, not so updated, the insight about how many data are generated continuously from the internet. So everyone knows about those services. The important thing to keep in this slide is that we are since 10 years, 15 years, we are producers and consumers as well. So we are producing data while we are consuming data. And this is quite crucial because the number of data that we need to analyze is growing apace. And this observation, this fact, is now called from a big data perspective in terms of dimension. So when we say big data, big does not refer only to the volume, so the size, a lot of data, but also to the complexities of handling those kind of data in terms of velocity. So data are generated very, very frequently. So let's say in real time, the variety. So this means that we are talking about audio, video, unstructured data, structured data, any kind of format is now exchanged among services. Just think about in terms of apps, in terms of website, appliances, sensors that exchange data, each one using its own format. And finally, in terms of veracity, that we can say the quality of the data or the uncertainty of data. So we don't know about the quality of the data when those data come from third-party services. So all those, let's say, dimensions make the problem of handling big data challenging. So this is basically the how to say the oil of AI. So we can use AI in many ways. Let's go through a different perspective. So still focusing on why we need the AI, and we will define AI later on the slides. So this picture will just give you a bird eye view of how many times and the growing of hours spent daily by adult people in US accessing the internet. You can see, of course, as expected, because it is well known, that mobile is now, since 4 or 5 years, even more, the preferred way for interacting with the internet in US. So this means that while we are using an app from the web, from the smartphone, meanwhile we are producing data. So this is the key point. Okay, when you use mobile devices or smart devices, you are also sending data about position, about what you're doing, app opens, and so forth. This makes you a prosumer, a producer and consumer of data at the same time. This picture on the other side shows the growing of the share of population that is using the internet, that is connecting to the internet worldwide over time. Again, we can see that basically more than 60% of the world and more than the 80% of the European population is now using the internet. So those slides are just to give you the evidence of this prosumer model is now the state of the art, okay, is now a de facto, let's say, situation in terms of data exchange and data prosumer model. So that said, we as a human need a way, an automatic way to look at the data. So some machine that is able to look at the data by our own, because we don't have time and resources to look at the data. So this is why AI, in terms of applications, but also algorithms, is growing so fast in the last year. So there is a call to the AI because we have data and we don't have time, resources, and let's say algorithmic intelligence to look at the data to derive knowledge for supporting decision making in business, in social, and anyway. So let's go through a definition of AI. So as you can imagine, there were many definitions of AI over years, because this is an evolving definition that evolves according to the state of the art from a technological perspective. So we can say that right now, as the European Commission said, AI refers to systems, so not just robots. Okay, do not imagine robots, just imagine systems. So smartphone, smart devices, smart assistants at home, and so forth. Systems that show you an intelligent behavior. So they seem intelligent. It's a proxy of intelligence. Okay, it's a surrogate of intelligence, and this intelligent behavior is by analyzing the environment, making decisions with very degrees of autonomy, but narrow decisions to achieve specific goals. So this definition that seems too generic basically is saying that you have something that seems you to be intelligent in doing something that is highly and very specific. In AI, we in the community distinguish between strong AI and weak AI. The strong AI does not exist yet and would be the AI intelligent and capable of doing exactly the same thing we do as humans. But this AI right now does not exist, okay? We talk about weak AI or narrow AI. This AI is something like in the definition that is able to do something very strict. Let's go through this example. There's no audio here, so just look at the example. This is an automatic AI-powered cooking system. Basically, the idea is that we could ideally order something from a tablet in our kitchen, and some robotic arms automatically prepare the food for us. In the video, you will see that those arms are trained. Let's say, let us introduce this trained by humans that try to instruct the AI in reproducing the sensibility. That's the part of the video, okay? The sensibility, the ability of cooking, the portions, and so forth, okay? This is not an example. This is a product you can buy on the web, but this is, of course, a narrow AI. So an AI, even more effective, but it is trained to do exactly a specific task. So let's talk also about tasks, okay? This video, again, with no audio, this is not important here to hear, but just to look, is the video with which Google DeepMind, formerly DeepMind, introduced an algorithm that is quite important for us, that is called reinforcement learning. So the idea to show you this algorithm is, imagine an AI trying to play this very famous game. It's Breakout from Atari, from the 80s, and the machine tries some movements, random movements. The machine has a goal to maximize the score you can see in the upper part of the video. So the machine tries to play for let's say for after 2 hours, the machine understands that some movements are quite profitable because they lead to a score. Okay, so the machine also only select those movements, discarding the ones that are, let's say, not profitable. So after 4 hours, the machine plays really like an expert. Okay, so please consider that the only goal of the machine is to do scores. How to play the game does not matter. At the end, the machine, as you see in the screen, understands that there is a movement that maximizes the score, minimizing the effort that is to pull the ball in the upper part. So this algorithm is quite important because if you replace the ball with us and the brick with the like, this is the algorithm used to recommend items in the web. So recommending video, recommending moves, recommending products. So every time we like something, we buy something, we watch till the end something, the machine basically hit a point, break a brick, okay? And this is why this algorithm, the reinforcement learning, is so effective in building us the so-called profile. So thanks to this profile, the machine understands what we like. Of course, the drawback of this behavior is that some recommendation could be, let's say, polarized. So too much profiled among us, because the machine does not any reward for showing us something that has no probability to like us. Okay, this is another example, real example that Peter, this guy, invented in late in 2010, perhaps. So those Kiva robots are now the Amazon robot. Started from a very simple idea, that is to automatize all the path from an order performed online to the shipment of such an order. Okay, so as you can see in the picture, so the product appears in the hands of the operator through a black box. Black box should be the AI, again, not a strong AI, a weak AI. The AI here is inductive, we say. What does it mean, inductive? That looks at the data, starting to, as you can see in this picture, so the deductive part that brings the product from the store to the operator, and the inductive part, that is the statistics in this case, that use stagionality of selling products to put products with high probability to being sold in more near to the store, while in the center you can have products with low probability of being sold. Okay, so here we can see two kinds of AI: the inductive and the deductive. The deductive that brings the products, the right products to the right store, and the inductive part that use probability to put the product and to organize the store. Similarly, we do the same with the, let's say, Google Map. When we have a route from one point to another one, we expect this point to be correct. So the route, the path to be correct with no probability, we would reach our destination for sure not for using probability. And this is why we use deductive AI. But we expect to go through the best path using probability, let's say the traffic. And we expect uncertainty. So we accept uncertainty because we don't have further information about that. So in this case, the AI that is trying to do something for us uses both combination, the deductive and inductive. So let's talk about this. The deductive AI, we can have the example of playing chess. The deductive AI has some coded domain knowledge. Let's say the chessboard and the rule for playing the game, and use a calculation to identify the best solution. Okay, this is deductive. The example of Google Map is exactly the same. Okay, replace the rules with the street and the movement with the points of the streets, the corner of the streets. We have exactly the same approach. Then we have the inductive part. The inductive part, that is the AI we are talking about right now, and it is growing so fast and so pervasive, is because, as said at the beginning of this speech, due to the high presence of data. So we are used to train machine. So let's go through an example that uses images. So we have the so-called training set. So a set of data we can do with images, with text, with music, with PDF, everything. Okay, let's go through images because it's more effective. So we have training set, so the bigger the better. And we train machine saying that this is a white shark, this is a dolphin, and so forth. So the machine basically improves while looking at the data, deriving the characteristic, the patterns of the data. So at the end of the training phase, we are used to test the abilities of the machine, putting images without a label. So asking the machine to recognize, in this case, images. At the end, we can ask the machine in production to look at something. So as in this case, this picture that the machine never seen. And we can ask, this is a whale or a shark? But this is the whale shark. And so the idea is that in classification task, as in this is the case, the machine right now does not recognize something that we didn't provide as a label, okay? So what we are doing in many applications, if you try to Google, show me picture of the sea in the winter in black and white, you will got such a kind of image. So this means that in some way Google catalogizes or understands something just because we trained the algorithm. Okay, but who is labeling these images for free? So who is collaborating as a whole in doing this activity? Basically, I don't know if you are aware about that, but basically we are part of this effort of the humanity of recognizing the world. We started with those CAPTCHA, perhaps you remember this on the left part, in trying to better recognize text, even those one. And recently, we are asking people to say, I'm not a robot, and then to recognize some part within text. So we are now not just training vehicles to drive, but training vehicles to better recognize the uncertainty of the roads of driving, that you can encounter while driving. This is the task we are supporting. We are doing even without being aware about that in those last periods. And so, just again on this, if you look at those pictures, I could tell you a story about those people, inventing a story about the person on the left, on the person on the right. It is John, and on the left it is Jane, and saying something about them. But the right, the true story is that no one of them really exists. Okay, so they are artificially generated, and artificially generated just from a website. There is a website called thispersondoesnotexist.com or .org. It's the same, and automatically generates faces that of people that don't exist, like in this case. Okay, so the takeaway concept from this slide is that there is no need of high technical competencies for, let's say, for having faces from people that does not exist, okay? And to have the right of using those faces. So let's say AI is becoming a commodity. You can use as a tool off the shelf, or you can use as a website or a web services for anyone. And this makes the use of AI and the impact of AI pervasive in many applications. But the same algorithm that generates the faces we just showed you is got confused. If we look at this picture about a panda, we add a pixel, and the algorithm now says this is a gibbon. And the same for other tasks that is called adversarial task. So a machine finds a way to make the algorithm wrong. This is a vulture just rotating a bit on the left, the machine. The algorithm says this is an orangutan, and so forth. So this slide is to say one thing. Recognizing does not mean understanding. So we are teaching machine in understanding the world, but the understanding is not our understanding. Okay, so there is a representation of the world, but it's not the same representation we have. Indeed, no one of us will have issues in recognizing those images, adding a pixel or just rotating the image. This is a video I would like to show you, so please just hear a bit for 2 minutes.
Buongiorno e benvenuti. Oggi
Hope you
parleremo
can
di
hear.
dell'intelligenza artificiale, di come funziona e della differenza tra AI deduttiva e induttiva. Spiegheremo poi il ruolo che i big data stanno svolgendo nell'evoluzione delle AI, fungendo da motore. Infatti, i big data sono il carburante dell'intelligenza artificiale. And welcome. Today we will discuss what artificial intelligence is, how it works, and the difference between deductive and inductive AI. We will then explain the role that big data is playing in the evolution of AI, acting as a driver. In fact, big data is the fuel of artificial intelligence. Und willkommen. Heute werden wir darüber sprechen, was künstliche Intelligenz ist, wie sie funktioniert und was der Unterschied zwischen deduktiver und induktiver KI ist. Anschließend wird erläutert, welche Rolle Big Data bei der Entwicklung von KI spielt und als Motor fungiert. Big Data ist in der Tat der Treibstoff für künstliche Intelligenz. 欢迎光临。那今天呢，我们将讨论什么是人工智能，人工智能呢如何工作，以及演绎是人工智能和归纳是人工智能之间的区别。然后呢，我们讲解是大数据在人工智能发展过程中发挥的驱动作用。
Okay, so the idea of this video that is made by an Italian company that does this as a business. So the idea is very simple. I never pronounced those words in any languages. Okay, I just sent a video about me moving without saying anything, and an Italian text, and the company automatically builds those video those videos in all the languages I asked for. Okay, so this is just to give you how simple would become to, let's say, do a very 2 minute video about something in any language. There are now some applications that about speech to speech that automatically translate from one language to another language, even because, as you can hear, the pronouns and the voice seems really to be my voice. So this is also comfortable for who is hearing. Again, just to give you the idea that it is a commodity. It's so simple to build, so smart, so effective application, AI based. Perhaps, I don't know if you had the opportunity to look at Sora, that is the OpenAI model, that is a model that allows you to prompt something just to discuss, to ask what you would like to have as a video. Like ChatGPT, this is the prompt, like ChatGPT, and the system automatically provides you a video, and it's quite impressive, the level of, or to say, the level of quality that this video is having. Indeed, this is the reason why right now OpenAI does not publish Sora, that is the model, for free and for people, because the issue related to deepfake will be difficult to handle. But the interesting part of this video is that the AI is having a representation of the reality. Okay, so what you are asked is your idea of reality, but what you will get is the AI idea of reality. So in this video, you can see that for some reasons that we don't know, when the AI discover a chair from the sand, this chair flies. Okay, so we don't know why. Okay, so there are some videos from here on in which you will find something strange in the AI produced videos, as in this case, for example, in which there is an explosion when the ball hit the point, and this is quite interesting to understand what is wrong in this part. Okay, again, the idea of those videos is that to give you the idea of how effective the AI is, but again, the comprehension of the reality from the AI is different from our. But we should talk about generative AI. So I showed you how AI is used to classify the word, but since the advent, let's say, of ChatGPT, AI is now able to create content. So AI does not create from scratch. AI creates from the training set, okay? And even if the training set is, let's say, big as the web is, and so a lot of possibilities, again, the AI is building not from scratch, but from the data. So this means that generative AI, ChatGPT, Gemini, and any other application you can have in mind does not understand the user request and does not understand the meaning. Let me to give you the intuition behind this. This is a mushroom. Imagine you to do this job. Which are the characteristics, which are the features of this mushroom? Imagine to answer this question. Then there is an encoding part. At the end, the AI is a sort of compressed representation of the characteristics that make this mushroom a mushroom. And then the generative part is to reproduce. So imagine to have a white paper and to draw this mushroom from your own. Okay, this is what we are asking the AI. So you are not building the mushroom from scratch, you are building from your knowledge. And this is what AI does. Learning. So this is the learned representation of the left one. So this is an example. Again, those people are the same people, but one image is real and the other one is the fake one. Try to get which is the real one and the fake one. Perhaps you can see that the fake one is, let's say, more perfect in terms of how to say cliche. Let's say cliche, okay? So with no biases from the left part. Again, because the machine um, has been trained to represent some generic part and not specific part, to generalize. This is an interesting video I would like to show you because recognizing, as I said before, does not mean understanding.
A Waymo stop for a stop sign on the sidewalk.
Going places that I've never been, seeing things that I may never see again. I can't wait.
So self-driving car stopping basically every time they see a stop signal, even though this stop signal is just a picture on the shirt of a guy. The machine moves until the guy does not go away.
Just can't wait to get on the road again.
Again, recognizing does not mean understanding. Okay, so the error that we could do is to interact with AI using the same human paradigms, human criteria, because the AI does not have such a criteria.
A Waymo.
Moving through the second part, of course, there is a part of the community that is working about explainable AI. The idea of explainable AI, let's go through the slides. Okay, so the explainable AI is trying to explain why machines say something, because this is important to interact with humans, because the idea is that AI and humans will work together and not AI alone. So to do this, even because the responsibility of many staff is still in charge of humans, the machine has to explain itself to humans. This is a branch of area of research called explainable AI. So the idea, let me say, this is the main intuition. We now have training data, a learning process that at the end says something. This is a cat, this is a battle, and so forth. But the users does not understand why, and has some questions and cannot decide without knowing why. Okay, the idea when DARPA launched this explainable AI in 2016 in US was to build new learning paradigms and new models to allow the system to explain why. So this is a cat, but I can say why this is a cat because I, as a machine, recognize some patterns. So the user can understand, can interact, as you can see from those arrows, can interact with the system. For example, even in terms of counterfactual. So I can say this face is angry because it's similar to those faces, okay, in a comparative way, let's say. The explanation, the right of explanation is quite important in putting AI into production, into business, for doing specifically even for doing social tasks. Indeed, the AI Act says that right now the generative AI is something machine-based system that is designed to operate with varying level of autonomy and that may exhibit adaptiveness after deployment. This is what you can get using, let's say, ChatGPT, and that for explicit or implicit objectives infers from the input it receives. Just think to the prompt when you ask something to prompt to ChatGPT, how to generate the output such as prediction, content, recommendations, decision that can influence physical or virtual environments. So this is the definition that the European community produced of AI and, let's say, more specifically to generative AI. And so they try in the AI Act to combine the risk as a combination of the probability of occurrence of harm and the severity of death. Okay, and so there is a category. I don't want to go in details with this, but they classify from minimal risk to unacceptable risk. So minimal risks are, let's say, spam filter recommendation systems in which you can use AI with no human assistance. But there are also some high risk, let's say, biometrics, using AI in education, in credit score and so forth, and which you can do that, but you need a human in the loop. So a human that is involved within the decision and then in the interaction with the person. And finally, there are some unacceptable risks. So some usage of AI that in Europe will be forbidden. Okay, so predictive policing, real-time biometric identification, and so forth. Okay, so in Europe, as soon as these regulation will be adopted, will take into force, they will be forbidden. Okay, in this first part, longer than was I expecting, but I hope interesting. I discussed about what is AI and how does it work. In the second part, I would like to discuss about the impact on job market. This is the hype cycle of Gartner for 2023 that Gartner is used to produce such a kind of graphs that try to predict the impact of technologies over time using this hype cycle. So there is a first part of hype due to the promises that technology brings, and then a sort of disillusionment, and finally the technology reaches the plateau of productivity. As you can see here, we are, of course, in the hype of generative AI. I would like to show you also this one, synthetic data. That means we are about to produce data that are, let's say, fake. So they have the characteristic of the original data, but they are fake. So data produced by us to train machines. So not just scraping from the web what exists in terms of data, but generate data that are similar from a statistical distribution to original data, but they are fake. And also there are some technologies that already reached the plateau: computer vision, data labeling and annotation, the cloud services. Autonomous vehicle will reach the plateau, they say, in 10 years and so forth. But now, of course, the hype is on those technologies. Also, responsible AI, that is not a technology, but is a field of study. There is a work made by International Monetary Fund that is trying to estimate the exposure and the complementarity of AI task by occupation. So exposure focuses on the risk of AI in replacing human tasks within jobs, while complementarity is saying that AI will empower, will enhance human capabilities in performing the task. So you can see from this screen that in advanced economies, about the 60% of jobs are exposed to AI, okay? With high prevalence among high cognitive content jobs, the so-called knowledge worker, or also the white collars. There is also a breakdown by professional groups, and as you can see, professional manager and clinical support work are basically the so-called white collars, and you can see that the complementarity is quite high, okay, while the exposure is affecting more the medium or low level skill jobs. What this means that basically from this study, being able to work with AI in your job especially if your job is a job based on knowledge, okay, that makes of own knowledge the asset of the job, will be useful. So let's say that the worker that is able to work with AI will stall the job to those workers that are not able to use and to work with AI. This is a breakdown by age, but it's not interesting. We did a work, a paper called the Terminator Economy, in which we are trying to assess the job exposure through AI through LLMs. So LLMs are basically open large language model like ChatGPT, but ChatGPT is not open. So we used 3 open models to evaluate the capabilities of technology in terms of AI, robotics, and computer vision to perform the main task of profession. For taking tasks and profession, we used ONEP. And for each response, we evaluated, asked the AI to evaluate from 1 to 5 to what extent it is able to do the job, calculating at the end an indication, so an AI exposure index. For example, just to give you some tasks, so on the paper you will find all the results. But for statistician, ONET says that statisticians have this task, that is to process large amounts of data for statistical modeling and graphical analysis using computers. So one model said that this task in the job of statistician is has a very high exposure. And the reason is that image processing systems can process and clean the data, while large language models, again, for example, ChatGPT, can perform exploratory data analysis. Of course, I do that, and generate insight, and I also use to do that, so I confirm. Robotics has limited relevance in this case, but LLMs and image processing system can work together to automatize data processing and analysis, improving efficiency and accuracy. So this is the state of the art. Perhaps in 2 years, I'm expecting to be more effective on this task. But what we did is a benchmark. So a benchmark that is benchmarking, sorry for repeating me, benchmarking what AI can do right now, and we can estimate what can do and what even to estimate the progresses over time of AI in the next year. For example, again, for statisticians, so the same profession, for the task of supervise and provide instruction to workers who collect data, the AI says that this task has a very low impact. So very low, how to say, we say probability to be replaced, because robotics can automate data collection but cannot provide instruction or supervise workers. So indeed, AI cannot do something that is related to the so-called soft skill. LLMs can provide instruction and analyze data, but cannot physically collect it, and so forth. So those slides are just to give you this insight that is the leitmotif of the paper, that we cannot say automatically in terms of we don't need to reason in terms of jobs. We should reason in terms of tasks, because AI is affecting tasks. Of course, this will impact on the jobs, but primarily on tasks. Of course, there are also others. Just let me show you this one. Supply chain manager meet with suppliers, discuss performance metrics, provide feedback on performance, or discuss production forecast or changes. Exposure very low, because robotics has no role in these tasks, because you cannot interact with clients with the robots, not yet. It involves humans because you need the human interaction. Image processing system cannot analyze human emotions, that is needed when you are dealing with customers and suppliers. or complex conversation, making them unsuitable for this task. On the other side, for the task of the same profession, design or implement storage strategies for production materials or finished products, here we have an impact. So impacts can be in replacement or in empowerment. Robotics can automate the movements and sorting of materials within the warehouse. We seen this in the previous part. Optimizing storage space and reducing labor cost. Image processing system can analyze inventory levels and suggest the optimal placement of materials. So the combination of those technology basically enables efficient data-driven storage strategies. The video I showed you about putting items according to stagionalities that adapt to evolving market conditions. So what we did is, let me go fast on this, to use the structure of ONET to synthesize some jobs in terms of medium, low-level exposure to AI, and those are the jobs having tasks with low exposure to AI, and those are just to give you some examples, okay? Medium exposure to AI, of course, education, environment science, production technician, and high exposure to AI on the basis of the importance of the task for doing the job. We believe this is the right way of looking at the impact of AI within jobs, because being aware about which are the tasks in which AI can play a role, you can optimize such a task within your organization, within your company, and then you can understand if and to what extent the AI can replace some tasks or basically just support, okay, existing tasks, optimizing, and then later you will have information about how to automatize some tasks without the support of humans. Last part, I'm on time. So which are the opportunities and point of attention? This is quite interesting. This is from Europe Investment Bank and OECD in a report made by McKinsey in 2024 that is trying to correlate the investment in software and the investment in training in percentage of the GDP to check to what extent this relation between investment and training software brings to an improvement in terms of GDP in percentage. So what they show is that investing in training without technology, so just training without innovating the technology, is not associated with any increase of productivity. Okay, so basically is effortless. Investing in technology without training, number two, does not guarantee any increase of productivity. So what they are saying is something that we would expect, of course, but the data confirms an intuition, that is that investing heavily in training and in technology is the policy that correlates with increasing productivity. So basically what we are saying is that we need to perform training in technology and AI, even at not just for technicians, but even for managers that have to conduct and to make the policy for the business, okay? So training and investment in technology is the way of being productive in a world in which the technology plays such a key role. Very last few minutes, we as a Bicocca University are leading a consortium that is working on this project. Perhaps you are aware of. That is a project started even in 2016 with the CEDEFOP, European Center for Development of Vocational Training, and then even with Eurostat from 2020 right now, This project aims at collecting online job ads from the web, all the EU countries, handling more up to 32 languages. We are collecting from a lot of sources, collecting about 450 million of job ads from 2019. The goal of this project is, on one side, to put online job ads into official statistics for Eurostat. On the other side, to have insight in terms of skills, occupation, and so let's say the labor market demand across Europe in real time. Okay, and of course, those data are accessible, signing NDA and asking Eurostat and CEDEFOP for research. And in the next two videos, I would like to show you two examples of research we did. So using AI, because all those job ads are processed using big data techniques, extracting insight using AI and generative AI as well, and then using statistician and economist to make sense of the data. So three disciplines working together for this project. And in the next two videos with audio, I leave you the possibility to look at two projects we are working with using this data as CRISP Bicocca.
Welcome to LandSkills, job analytics for the Basque Country. LandSkills, a pioneering platform by Landbide, is designed to empower citizens, businesses, and labor market experts. Our goal? To provide a comprehensive understanding of the evolving trends in occupations and skills within the Basque labor market. By meticulously analyzing key labor market indicators, drawn from official statistics and online job postings, LandSkills offers a unique lens into the workforce dynamics of the Basque region. Our innovative online tool allows you to directly compare your expertise with current online job listings in the Basque region. This feature is not just about finding a job, it's about staying ahead. You'll discover essential skills to acquire, keeping you updated with market trends, potential career shifts, and similar occupations that might pique your interest. Delving deeper into the heart of LandSkills, we discover two main dashboards, each offering unique insights into the labor market. Our first dashboard revolves around the Labor Force Survey of 2021. This comprehensive survey provides a snapshot of labor participation for individuals aged 15 and above. Here, you can explore the distribution of the employed population in the Basque Country by main economic sectors. This includes a detailed breakdown of employee and unemployment numbers and rates, juxtaposed against other regions in the prestigious Four Motors for Europe. Dive into a meticulous breakdown of the employed population in 2021, segmented into four main economic sectors. Compare crucial indicators, such as the number of employees from 2007 to 2021, the employment rate, the number of unemployed, and the unemployment rate. Our second dashboard focuses on online job ads data and analytics. This is where the digital meets the professional world. Companies across the Basque Country use online platforms to advertise jobs, and this section provides an in-depth analysis of these job ads. You'll discover the most requested occupations and skills across various sectors and professional areas, directly reflecting the needs of companies. Explore the list of the most sought-after professions in the Basque Country for 2022, neatly categorized into four major occupational groups. Each group showcases distinct professional domains, highlighting the skills most valued in the Basque job market. To enhance your understanding, we've included an interactive polar chart. This visual tool illustrates the significance of each occupation within the major groups. The larger the area, the more vital the occupation. Click on each occupation to unveil detailed information about the profession and its relevant skills. Finally, we present the distribution of NACE sectors by occupation. This graph is a window into the workforce distribution across different occupational groups and NACE sectors in the Basque countries. It effectively illustrates the job prevalence in each sector and the concentration of workers across various occupational groups. Now, let's explore how you can align your skills with the demands of the online labor market using our intuitive tool. Begin by selecting your occupation from a comprehensive drop-down list. Then, choose between 3 to 5 skills from a curated selection that aligns with your professional expertise. Before diving into the labor market data, take a moment to self-assess. Evaluate your proficiency in various skills, including those automatically suggested by our system, which are pertinent to your occupation. This includes additional skills and soft or transversal skills. Discover the significance of your skills in the online labor market. Our system uses stars and percentage values to denote the importance of each skill within an occupation. This reflects the extent to which a skill is necessary for job performance, as indicated by online job market trends. Engage with our Skills Occupation Match feature to understand how your skills align with your current job. Then, explore the skills requested from job ads to identify the most relevant additional skills in your profession. Don't forget to check out the Transversal Skills section to learn about the soft skills most valued in your current job. Considering a career change or curious about alternative job options, our Career Path feature offers suggestions based on the similarity in skill sets and their relevance. These alternatives are based on the number of shared skills and their importance, offering a fresh perspective on potential career shift. Please note, these suggested professions are based solely on skill similarities and do not account for any necessary educational titles or licenses required for these occupations. Thank you for your attention. LandSkills, empowering your career journey with data-driven insights.
Okay, this is an example of an ongoing project in Basque Country that is trying to put this knowledge to support and to avoid brain drain from the country. And this is
Welcome to Jobin.
Okay, this is instead another example for we did in Bicocca University.
Welcome to Jobin, the platform created by Università Bicocca, aimed at facilitating entry into the professional world. Begin by selecting your starting point: high schools, universities, teaching positions, or the corporate sector. Jobin offers guidance tailored to your current stage. We are here to assist you if you are uncertain about your future profession. Choose an area of expertise like medical or scientific to explore available paths. After choosing a course of interest, see its geographic prevalence and discover the number of relevant professions. This insight helps you understand where opportunities are concentrated. By selecting a professional figure, you'll access detailed job descriptions, degrees that align with the profession, geographic distribution, economic sectors, and skills learned during the courses. The professions are presented as delineated by the degree courses themselves. Jobin also outlines additional degrees leading to your selected profession and specifies essential skills. Skills marked with stars are frequently mentioned in online job advertisements, indicating high demand. For your convenience, all information can be downloaded as a PDF, making it easy to review whenever you wish. Thank you for visiting Jobin, your bridge to the professional world, supported by Università Bicocca. Begin your exploration today to move closer to your career goals.
And this is another example, shorter than the previous one, about using this data for supporting orientation, in which we bridged the syllabus, the programs of the university with the skills demanded by the labor market to match the two and to provide evidence of expectation in terms of jobs to incoming students and companies. So, concluding remarks, some key points. AI is today a pervasive element. So basically the integration of AI solution in business process is crucial, not just for, let's say, replacing workers, but to provide more opportunities in terms of tasks, in terms of optimization of AI. AI is becoming, of course, a commodity that, as a first consequence, will optimize existing processes before enabling new ones. Of course, we are now in phase of a paradigm shift. Because till now with the digitalization, we started using tools, Excel, Office, the email, and so forth. But now AI is giving us the opportunity to work with agents. So we are moving from tools, I do something, and the tool always does the same, to agents. agents. So I ask a question, and with the same question, the answer can change. A critical issue is that about, of course, the fake news and excessive delegation to AI and in companies also, the possibility to understand the decisions made by AI to take informed decision by humans. So actions, of course, in terms of training, it's important to define what is the AI, the opportunity, and data governance and internal AI usage policy. I think those are even, of course, interacting talent development programs to create innovative AI-based solutions. I think those are the strategy. This is the strategy of any organization that would like to put AI into force. Okay, understanding what is the opportunity at data governance and internal talent program. So I think, of course, it's not just a technological problem right now, because, as I said, AI is becoming a commodity like electricity, like internet, okay? But an attitude toward learning something new, because in terms of labor, I think, again, that it's important to have knowledge about the AI to remain and to stay updated with expectation of the labor market, and to have also the criteria for putting AI in the right part of the business instead of being, how to say, being defined by AI, and without an idea and without a policy and a plan on the business. So that's that's all on my side. So I would conclude with this.
Thank you, Professor. It was an amazing presentation, and also personally, I have to say that I learned many things on how it works, actually, AI, because we always hear much about it, but not really how it does really work. And for me, it was also really interesting to see the impact on the various profession. I didn't expect to see.
Sorry, I didn't hear, because, but can you repeat the
No,
question?
yeah, for me was really interesting to.
Okay, so I got it.
Okay.
Just the last part, I had a problem with my ears.
Okay, so it was really interesting to see which professions are kind of affected by AI, and I didn't expect like this situation between high-skilled jobs and low-skilled jobs. It was for me like I thought it was the opposite, but it's interesting to acknowledge that. Uh, as we are close to the coffee break, I wanted to address a couple of questions we received, so you can answer to them before we go to the coffee break. So the first one was regarding the image generation. Could we use them in the EURES communication activities, or should we still avoid it? I think the question is more on the side of
More legal.
like copyright, yeah, legal side. So how does it work with image generated by AI?
Yeah, but as soon as I know, when ChatGPT creates some image, ChatGPT and of course other AI models, you can use them for free. So this is what
Okay. So this I hope this was the answer that Anna was expecting. And then we have another question. Just a sec. The other one was, what are the biggest risks and challenges using AI, and can the law keep up with the AI and prevent abuses?
It depends on the usage. For example, in the social or in the business, in the recommendation, it depends. Okay, but generally speaking, the biggest one is in terms of fake news. So fake news, so let's say, sorry, fake news is in a specific context. Let's say in recognizing artificial elements, okay, is becoming, difficult, because in terms of images or generated text, think about the terms related to ChatGPTs, recognizing text written by AI, okay, or recognizing images produced by AI. So this is becoming, an issue, even because as soon as we use those data to train the machine, the difference among human-generated content and AI-generated content will reduce, of course.
Of course.
Because we are using the data, saying they are human data, but generated by the machine. So, at the end, we'll eventually lose the ability to distinguish between the two. So those are the key points in terms of data, and this is why we are trying to use synthetic data and recognizing fake. Let's say fake, generally speaking, it depends on what fake we are talking about in terms of news, in terms of content, because we would like to avoid to generate a real video, so we expect to be fake enough. Okay.
Yeah, we have seen also in the videos you shared how
Yeah,
really real they look while, for
they
example, a
look.
dog
Yeah,
exiting from a window, and
yeah,
we,
yeah.
of course, can understand how tricky it can be also on a legislative level.
Okay.
I would launch the coffee break, so stay with us. And don't leave the webinar. We will be back, let's say, in 10 minutes, so the professor can rest a little before we have the interactive part where we will tell you a couple of questions. So I'm talking to the
Okay.
audience, and then we will do a little discussion, me and the professor, about the labor market in general in relation to AI. So see you back in 10 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, welcome back. So, as I was anticipating before, we will do a short, let's say, interactive session. And now I will share with you a Slido. And in this Slido, you will find two questions. And in these two questions, like we will see the answers and take them as points of discussion with the professor. So I will share with you the slide. Okay, you should be able to see it. So what I ask you to do is to um, scan the QR code, and you will be redirected actually to the Slido, and then I will start the questions in a few seconds, so people have time to connect. If you cannot join using the QR code, you can use the link pinned in the chat section, and it will work in the same way. So I wait a few seconds to start the poll. All right, let's start with the first question. So the first question, we ask you to this question. So according to your experience, which jobs are starting to require AI competencies? So we have seen from Professor presentation what kind of occupation are affected, but in your experience, so you that work basically with job vacancies, with employers, which profession are starting to require this kind of competencies?
Yeah, let me to focus more on what we call digital skills to be more effective in replying, because let's say AI competencies might be robotics, might be computer graphics, so too narrow. Okay, so let's say we say digital skills. In our work, we also estimate the degree of digital skill, soft skill, and non-digital skill. Let's say so professional skills, exactly to check and to estimate the degree of importance of skills within jobs. And what we can say that digital skills are pervasive in any occupation. From let's say I have this number. Let's say this number from 20 to 40%. It depends of the professional level. For example, for manager and for professionals, okay, the digital skills are more what we say about brokerage information skills, the use of digital tools, okay, including prompt engineering, that is the ability of to use large language model to ask something, okay, whilst looking at professional occupations, so let's say, and technicians, so let's say the digit 3 of the ESCO taxonomy, yes, for talking in the European the ESCO European taxonomy. Okay, here the degree of digital skill grows up to even to 30 and 40% of pervasiveness, depends on the jobs. But of course, the degree, the kind, the type of digital skill changes from information brokerage to to skill for coding, a skill for realizing product. Okay, so we have machine learning, we have deep learning, we have Python if you are a programmer. But so this is this is the main skills required by people, but depends on the usage. Generally speaking, as a rule of thumb, skills, AI. So let's say AI in terms of generative AI. Okay, so use AI for generate content. So the use of generative AI is more requested to knowledge intensive professionals. So
Yes.
manager, professional technician, let's say manager, professional technician, because they produce content that are part of the knowledge as an asset, and now you can being supported or replaced by AI to produce such a content. Okay.
So here we have some answers, um, many answers actually. So I'm happy about it, and I will show them here in the screen, and I will read them to you so you can also see them, so you can also know them. So here, the participants to the webinar are starting to write, for example, competencies like in HR sector, in the communication, guidance, design, ICT, statistics, and logistics. We have also web designers, accountants, lawyers, recruiters, job marketing, and also I see again human resources, again marketing, finance,
Yeah,
also.
staying on human resources, just to give you the
Yep.
insight, okay, because we showed the videos of Jobin, but also of Landscale. So those kind of tool is quite interesting for HR, because on the one side you can compare the skill someone has with the labor market expectation. Okay,
Mhm.
in your country, in your region, in your city, so you can filter to better refine the query. On the other side, you can use the last example we showed, the Terminator economy, no? Asking the machine your task of your people within your organization to have the clue of where AI can play a role within your organization, because this is a study on a taxonomy that is general, okay, with tasks that are
Of course.
defined top down. But I would say I am let's say a software developer, but the tasks in our organization are different from the software developer that Onet is saying. So the tasks are A, B, C, D, and you can ask our algorithm, for example, to estimate which of the task can be replaced or empowered by AI. So this for an HR department will be quite useful, because you can have a quantitative point of view of the impact of the AI within organization, within departments, just to react on what you are saying. But this is
Yeah,
similar even
it's
to
really
other one.
it's really
Copywriter,
interesting to
I said you mentioned copywriter.
yeah.
So copywriter, can use a lot those tools to empower more on the productive part, and being concentrated more on the creative part, because ChatGPT is not creative at all. So you can concentrate more on the creativity and asking generative AI to act like an assistant. Hmm?
Yeah. Yeah, we see this element of being an assistant basically
Yeah,
to the worker. And also here, for
yeah,
example, I see some other examples that our colleagues are writing, for example, translators or check-in data. Or I see here, yeah, again, translator, for example, is one of those professions that can have a big hand from AI, and they can cooperate in order to, for example, be faster. let's say. All right, so no more answers for this question. We go to the second one. The second question would be, is your organization implementing AI solutions to support and improve your daily work? So now we are talking basically to you as advisors. So is in your knowledge, is your organization using this kind of tools, starting to use this kind of tools? We have seen several. So uh, in your specific case, it can be like um, addressed to, for example, matching or screening some skills, or if you use it, for example, in the communication. We have seen also image generation, for example, or copywriting. So are you using that in your daily job?
So I'm a researcher basically, and I also lead a team of researchers. So my tasks are different. I also code still a bit, so in coding a lot. So basically, we do not code, we ask someone to code for us. That is similar to what we do while trying to navigate in many websites looking for um, Stack Overflow and other websites. Okay, so what we basically we have an assistant, so we ask to do piece of code, and then we supervise the part of coding. So many of my colleagues use daily AI as agent within IDE, so software for coding. So I would say that in terms of tasks, in the coding task a lot. So massively use of AI. Let me say it's a use that optimize the coding, reduce the time for coding, and so at the end you will code more.
Of
Okay.
course. Here from the
Second part.
answers, we are.
No. Let me
Sure,
let me
sure, go,
conclude. No, let
go,
me go.
go.
In terms of research, there are many tools for researchers that are now very helpful in identifying papers and in summarizing the state of the art. And finally, I use a lot when we have long documents. You can use AI to ask for summarizing, or if you have a document that you studied and you would like to test your level of knowledge, you can put the PDF to the machine saying, ask me 3 questions to check if I studied well. Okay,
Oh,
so
okay.
those are basically three kinds of usage in supporting me to check my expertise, my knowledge, in supporting in writing or studying something, and finally in coding. But I would say the coding part is the task in which the use of AI is massive.
That's really interesting. Also, the aspect you mentioned about like reviewing a document and asking you like questions as a kind of change of perspective. Here
Yeah,
from the answers we are receiving, for example, we have many no's, so many organizations are not using it, but some are, for example, in the matching of competencies and also seeking information and making summary, as you were also mentioning. Some say also that there is still hesitation on using this kind of tools at like a higher level, let's say. I see also recruiting systems and also contact centers. I remember also seeing from other um, uh, courses that we did that, for example, there are some, let's say, chatbots, for example, that
yeah,
are useful like to help the operator to ask like to reply to some frequent questions. Here I see also some, yes, matching. One of the pillars in the past strategy is digitalization. So I expect we will use AI for more than just matching. Then
yeah,
we
of
have
course.
another answer, the German Federal Employment Agency offers an AI tool which helps us to analyze read job offers and finally transfer them into our system. Um, but so they hope for a more generative, of course, solution. So it's interesting also to see how
Yeah, some
these
reactions. Yeah,
tools
of
are
course.
getting
But
like involved in
But
this.
let me clarify that I'm not a supporter of using AI, in spite of the task and despite of the organization. Okay, so it's not my position. What I'm saying is that AI is an opportunity to optimize existing processes in businesses and organization, and I would say that avoiding to at least verify to what extent the AI can support your business is, let me say, a wrong way of staying in front of technology. Even because this technology is expected to grow and to change over time, so you need to, even faster. Okay, so you need to have the idea of how to use them. Okay, in 2008 we didn't have smartphone. 2008 is basically yesterday, but a technological era, from a technological point of view. Okay, so what we would say is not just use it, but verify what it can do training, and then in case do investment to optimize processes. This, if I would say, a policy, not just to use.
Of course, that's a really interesting point. So never underestimate like the cooperation, like the use. Let's say it is a tool, not something to replace what people can do.
Yeah.
So as we are approaching the end, I would like to continue the discussion on two points. You already discussed a little bit which profession are affected by AI. So in terms of vulnerability, let's say, so which profession may be more subject to these technological advancements? So do you see something changing or disappearing, or do you think it's something that can, let's say, we will see a different evolution of some professions?
It's a difficult question to answer, I would say. And not in terms of my opinion, there are many studies that try to estimate which job will disappear in the last few years. But according to my experience working since 15 years in looking at job markets, all those predictions never realized. Before generative AI, the predictions were that low skill level jobs like blue collar will disappear in, let's say, 5 years, 10 years. Okay,
Yeah.
Then generative AI arrived, and now we are talking about white collars, because now someone is in state of writing, in state of building images that was basically impossible to predict 3 years ago, not 10 years ago, 3 years ago. So I wouldn't want to make a prediction in terms of occupation. I would say something that is happening right now in terms of, again, task. Okay, so if we are saying that a machine is able to summarize text, well written, with a good meaning, with a good content, and so far that the question is about you. So when you do content in your job, it's a content that is original, or it's a content that is just a summarization of some other content already written? Because if so, the machine at the end will replace you. But if you say something creative, something new, and you, let's say, cross the dot, okay, fill the dot, so then the machine is not in state to do this right now. So you can still play a key role. So I would change the question in terms of how you use your knowledge in your creativity in your job, because the answer to this, on the answers to this depends the future of your job. Let's say.
That's a really interesting question, and I think everybody should think about it now that in this like changing labor market, we are seeing this kind of uh, advancements. So what is really so my job and what is like the added value I provide to the tasks. And
Yeah,
also about
correct.
this, I found really interesting when you mentioned during the presentation about the fact of soft skills. That's something that is always debated, hard skills, soft skills. But as I understood, soft skills are those that are really hardly replaceable. And it's something
Yeah,
that really
correct.
characterizes like the employee or the worker
Correct.
itself.
Yeah, indeed, in the study, so guiding the project of analyzing online job ads over Europe, we have the opportunity to look at skills across countries and languages, even with the peculiarities of the labor market across borders. And what we observe is that in any country, the relevance of soft skills is growing. Okay, in terms of pervasivity, of course, it depends on the job. The higher the job, the higher the importance of soft skills. So soft skills are crucial for manager, less crucial for operators. Okay, of course, but in any case, the ability to interact, just to mention a few, team working, team leading for managers, problem solving, interact with others, for medium occupation and so further are key skills for organization. And I would say also talking about the so-called how to say manual dexterity. So on one side, skills about personality, skills about ability to interact with others. On the other side, manual dexterity, so the ability of handle stuff. Of course, there are robots that can do this in many industries. But if you look at bartender that has to have some manual dexterity to do the job, of course, those skills are less replaceable, even with technology, even with robots. So this is why I would say soft skills, the ability of bring connection, to make connections, and to interact with others are emotional skills, interpersonal skills, social skills are those skills that right now are very far from the possibility of any AI-based system, and that's those skills that can make difference in companies.
That's really interesting. And this comes to my, like, connects to my last question. So we have seen the skills that are hardly replaceable, but are there any specific skills that can help a job seeker, for example, to like have better chances, like to master AI? So are there complementary skills that can be used in uh, to use the tool in a better way?
Yeah, there are. So I'm director of a master in BI Big Data Analytics that we are now changing in the AI data science because we are teaching exactly what you said. It depends on the role of the person, I would say. Because if you are someone that manage the data to let's say in the process from the beginning, grasping data, processing, using AI to get insight, and then visualizing the final results to someone. If you are within this process, with any role, I would say it's important to have a knowledge of the whole process. For example, doing a master, okay? Because you need to know how each step works, from the collection to the ingestion to the processing to the mining to the visualization, because you are within a process and you have to guide the process. On the other side, if you are someone with very, managing, managing tasks. So you are a manager, high-level manager, you don't see any of the process, you are just at the end. My suggestion is to have focused a learning path, there are many, that just allows you to understand how does the AI work under the hood, okay? Just to have the idea. You will never do anything, but at least to have the idea that is inductive and not deductive, that, you can have the training data is important, generally, what does it mean, and risks. And, there are many courses that are vertical for, have the idea of the approach. So it depends of which kind of role you play in your organization.
All right, thank you very much. So we approached basically the end of our webinar. So if you have any questions, please type them in the comment section. In the meantime, I will do a little wrap up of what we have heard today. So we have seen basically an introduction on how AI works and what are the elements that characterize this new tool that we have in a work environment. We have seen also how does this impact the labor market and how it will impact basically the labor market in the coming years in a society that always evolves and needs new tools to be more efficient and effective. And we also have seen which are, for example, some skills that are needed, some that are like really likely to, let's say, be replaced or not be easily replaceable, like relational skills, emotional skills, and so on. So I think this was a great beginning of the topic, like to set the basis on how AI works, and we will, of course, go more into deep with other sessions in the future, talking about, for example, some other tools, specific tools that we will use. I check some last questions. So I see. So we have a comment. AI is presently owned by over the tops. They own the models. They give us outputs for price while we fuel them for free, giving quality data points for from our professionalism. In your opinion, is there room to democratize the power of AI? So we go again on a more legislative perspective.
There is a branch of research that is working on the so-called alignment of intelligence that is trying to bridge this gap. So technology cannot be so better. Let's say they are trying to put ethic statements within the algorithm per se. Okay. But it's a branch of research. So right now, what we are trying is to provide regulations to the usage of AI and not to the technology. That's the point. We can regulate the usage of technology, not the technology itself.
Okay, so it's more on the user side of
Of course,
yep.
as the AI Act is, for example, in the usage of the application of.
Yep. All right. So, thank you very much, Professor, for
Thank
being with
you.
us
Thank
for
you.
this really interesting presentation.
Thank you.
And
And
so for those that are following us, I will share soon with you a QR code for the satisfaction questionnaire. So you will tell us what you think about the webinar, and remember to subscribe to the channel to be able to see also the let's say the recording and the previous webinars that we had. So with this, I leave the floor for a final goodbye to the professor, and thank you all.
thank you. Thank you for your attendees. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, and have
Bye.
a nice day. Bye bye.
Bye.